Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Courtney, and behind me sleeping are Phaedra and Nyx. I'm not sure if you can see them, but they are super adorable and napping on the floor. Today I'm going to be bringing you my Sephora VIB sale recommendations. I will have all the details on the dates for VIB Rouge and VIB in the description box below. Pretty much anytime there is a Sephora VIB sale, I recommend the same sorts of things. So number one would be staple items, products that you're going to use up every day year round. 2, big ticket items such as like anti-aging devices or expensive hair tools or some sort of beauty tool. 3 would be gifts, and 4 would be treat yourself. So let's go ahead and talk about staples first. So the first sort of staples that I would recommend would be primers. If you prefer a silicone-based primer, I love the Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer. I bought my big tube during one of the Sephora VIB sales, and it was well worth it to me. I still haven't finished it, so I highly recommend if you're going to buy a primer, especially if it's on the pricey side, buy it during the sale. For water-based primers, I really love the First Aid Beauty Coconut Smoothie Primer and the Too Faced Hangover Primer. And finally, the last primer that I've been playing around with that I surprisingly liked because I thought it would do absolutely nothing for me, and it actually does make a difference for me, is the Milk Blur Stick. I've been constantly impressed with how this works under different foundations. So those would be my 4 face primers of choice. Next up is eye primers, and I'm actually going to buy another eye primer myself because I'm almost out. I am recommending Too Faced Shadow Insurance. I also like Too Faced Glitter Glue if you want a sticky primer. And I love Urban Decay's Enigma Primer Potion. The reason I like this is because it's tinted and it does a nice job of hiding any discoloration around my eyes. I would say picking up any sort of eye primer is a good idea, especially if you have hooded eyes like me and you need to use primer to make your eyeshadow last all day. The next product I want to talk about is concealers, and there are 2 that I would recommend. One would be the Kat Von D Lock-It Concealer Cream. I love this stuff. This is my go-to concealer. I use the shade L1 Neutral, and I personally think it's fantastic. It's very pigmented. It blends like a dream. I can put this on top of a powder foundation, on top of a liquid foundation, underneath foundation. No matter how I apply it, it will just blend out beautifully. I think it's magic. The other concealer that I really like is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. So before the Kat Von D launch, this was my go-to concealer. I think either of these are great. I personally am not a fan of the Tarte Shape Tape because when I tried the Tarte Shape Tape, it smelled like bug spray, and I really didn't like that, so that was not for me. The next product I want to talk about would be foundations, and if you're looking for a more light coverage foundation and you have dry skin like mine, I would recommend checking out the Cover FX Total Cover Cream Foundation. I recently repurchased this in shade N0, and the reason that I would recommend this if you want a sheer coverage foundation is that you can apply it with a beauty blender to make it sheer. You can use a brush to build it up to make it more medium coverage, and I think it goes up to like medium full, but I feel like this gives you like sheer to light coverage if you apply it with a beauty blender. So for those of you who don't like full coverage, this is a good option. Plus, it's one of the few foundations that I can actually wear that I don't have to add white to. Yay! If you're looking for more medium coverage foundation, I would recommend the Urban Decay Naked Skin, Urban Decay One and Done, or maybe a Cosmetic CC Cream. I don't have a perfect match in any of those. I have to add white to them. I think with the One and Done, I have to add like 50 or 75% white, so it's kind of sucky because it's a really nice formula, but I can't wear any of those without adding white. And if you are looking for more full coverage foundation, I would recommend the Kat Von D or the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundation. I really like the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundation. I don't have to add white to this. I wear the shade Milkshake in the Faux Filter Foundation. It is more full coverage than I prefer because on a daily basis, I really don't want full coverage. I want maybe light medium. So I try to sheer it out a little bit. I usually mix it with like the Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer to make it more sheer and glowy, which looks really nice. But if you are somebody who loves full coverage, I think this is a good choice, or the Kat Von D. Especially if you have oily skin, I think the Kat Von D is perfect because it is super full coverage. I can wear the shade Light 41, and I think it looks excellent on me. But it is so super full coverage that I feel like I have a mask, and it really doesn't play well with my dry skin. So I don't think it's ideal for my skin type, but I think it is great for other skin types. The next staple I want to talk about is mascara, and after trying a bunch of other mascaras, I've gone back to Urban Decay Decay's Perversion Mascara. I like this better than Troublemaker. I like it better than Too Faced Better Than Sex. I like it better than Tarte's Lights, Camera, Flashes, whatever mascara. I even like it better than IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. I just feel like I can apply this and it's going to last and it's not going to flake down on my face. That's a problem I was having with some of the other mascaras I was trying, is that they would end up flaking down below my eyes and give me raccoon eyes when I didn't even apply the mascara to my lower lashes. So yeah, I just gave up, went back to Perversion. Love it. It's my favorite. Next would be Urban Decay Vice Lipsticks. Those are my go-to lipsticks. They're what I wear pretty much every single day. I really like shades like Violate or Peyote or Oblivion for like a sort of My Lips But Better or like light neutral lip. If I want a bright, I really like shades like Frenemy or Crank. If I want something deep and dark and vampy, I like Conspiracy, I like Hex, I like Heroin, I like Perversion. If I want a classic red lip, I really like 714 or Bad Blood. But there are so many different shades of Urban Decay's lipsticks that, you know, there's bound to be a shade for you. Those are just my favorites. Next would be the Urban Decay 24/7 lip pencils. I have to tell you that I use a couple pencils all the time. I use Urban Decay's Hex pencil like all the time right now because it's just such a deep wine shade. In fact, that's what I have as my base for my lip look today. And as you can see, like I've done some damage to this pencil. It's about halfway gone. Some of the other lip pencil colors that I like are deep if I'm going to want to use like a peachy shade. I like Native if I want to use like more of like a light pink, like My Lips But Better. I also like Rushed. I use Bittersweet if I want to use like a bright pink or a bright purple. I have Frenemy if I want a neon pink. So, and for red I have 714. So there are lots of options also with their pencils because they have almost a pencil for every single color that they have. But really you only need a couple because like I said, I end up using wine below so many different things, even things you wouldn't expect, like Hex. I've even put Hex below things like Fuel, which is like this peachy nude, just to kind of like create sort of like a brick red type color. I love this pencil. If you only get one pencil, I would say pick this one up because it's great. I've used it in so many different circumstances. I even like it like under 714 if I want to make it more of like a deeper red. It's just an amazing color. Works with so many different things. It is perfect for fall, winter. So the next thing on my list would be eyeliner pencils. Right now, I haven't really been doing much with pencils other than using a black on my upper waterline. And for the black I've been using on my upper waterline, I've been using Urban Decay's 24/7 pencil in Perversion, or I've been using Marc Jacobs Blacker 42. And the name for the Marc Jacobs pencil cracks me up because it makes me think of what is the answer to the life, universe, and everything, 42. Basically saying that black eyeliner is the answer to everything. I was using a pencil on my lower waterline, like a light peachy nude color, but the one I have from Urban Decay is like Midnight Cowboy, and it was a limited edition, and they don't make it anymore. So I need to find a new nude pencil for my lower waterline because basically I've just been using whatever random pencils I have, and I haven't really been satisfied with them. So I'm going to look for one either from Urban Decay or from Marc Jacobs because I really like those two formulas. For liquid eyeliners, I prefer the Kat Von D Tattoo eyeliner. I'm actually wearing Mad Max Brown today. I can count the number of times that I've worn brown eyeliner on one hand. It's very rare. I typically just always go for black, and I really like Trooper. So this is my favorite formula. I really like this brush tip because it's very nice and thin. It makes it really easy for me to get along the inner corner of my eye. So the next staples I would recommend would be Urban Decay's Afterglow blushes. I wear these almost all of the time. Some of my favorite shades are TMI, Rapture, Fetish. I like Score, X-Rated. So any of these, if you like them, I would recommend them because I feel like I get all day wear with them and they're really easy to blend out. Most of these are matte. A couple of them have a little bit of shimmer. Score and Rapture both have shimmer, but I feel like it's like a subtle satin shimmer, so it just gives you like a nice lovely sheen. And if you're looking for some highlighters that have a similar nice formula, the Urban Decay highlighters are great. Aura is like a really nice iridescent pink, and Sin is like a very pretty like white gold type color. So I think either of those are gorgeous. The shade Fireball is more meant, I think, for deeper skin tones because I can wear Fireball as a blush, but it's kind of like a peach with a pink shift. I think it's really pretty. So the highlighters are nice too. For setting powders, I would recommend the Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder. Since NARS is no longer cruelty-free, while I am using up the light reflecting loose setting powder that I have, I'm not ever going to repurchase it. So I would definitely recommend using the Cover FX because I think it's also a very nice powder, and I like the texture of it. It's very finely milled. Okay, the next thing I would recommend would be picking up some setting sprays. I personally love Urban Decay's All Nighter as well as Chill. If my skin is really, really dry, I'm going to use Chill, but I use All Nighter most of the time. And I also additionally like All Nighter for whenever I'm going to foil eyeshadow. Basically, I will just spray my eyeshadow brush with All Nighter and then dip it into the product and then put it on my eyes. The next staple I would recommend is something like Cinema Secret's brush cleaner. I use this after I use my makeup brushes every time because I like clean brushes. It's really easy to use. You just pour it into a little dish, you dip the brush in, you do like a figure 8 with the brush on a towel, and it cleans the brush off. So I like this. It does have like a vanilla mint smell that sticks with the bristles, and so if you're sensitive to scent, I would get a sample of this in store to make sure it's not going to trigger any migraines, but I love this and I've been using it for years. It's basically how I clean my brushes all the time because then I don't have to worry about any of like the hard water in my house ruining my brushes because that's happened to me before. I'm going to switch to tools and other things. Now that I've gone through my staples with you. One of the things I would recommend picking up if you don't already have some would be makeup brushes. I love the Urban Decay makeup brushes. Particularly, I would recommend the Urban Decay Moondust brush, which is great for loose eyeshadow or for really glittery shades like the Urban Decay Moondust eyeshadows. It also works really well with the new Urban Decay Heavy Metals palette. I'd recommend the Iconic brush because that is a great one and done brush. You could use that for a single wash of color. You can use that to blend out color in your crease. I also really like the Urban Decay Tapered Blending brush. I like the Urban Decay Angled Eyeliner brush. Either of those are great. The taper blending is good for helping to blend out more on the crease. The angled eyeshadow brush is great for applying eyeshadow or for doing your brows. It's kind of a multi-purpose brush. Some other tools you might be interested in considering would be something like the Amica Perfect Hair Straightening Brush. It's one of those brushes that you can use to straighten your hair and like you brush through it. It's supposed to save time. I personally have never tried one, but I have a lot of friends who really like them, so it might be something to look at. If you're thinking about getting something like the Foreo Luna, during the sale is a perfect time to get it because you'll get 20% off if you're VIB Rouge like I am. And I personally like the Foreo Luna for sensitive skin like mine because you can use it every day if you want. I only use it once a week right now. For a while I was using it once a day, but it's really good at basically deep cleaning your skin without irritating it because it has like these little, I want to call it plastic, but it's not plastic. It has like these little nubs that it uses to help clean your skin, and if you flip it over, the one that I have at least, it has like these little ridges so you can use it to kind of massage around your face and give yourself like a little facial. And whenever I have like a really bad sinus headache, not a migraine, I can use it around my face and it will help relieve pressure to make my head feel better. So that's been like something I really like. Plus the charge in it lasts forever. I think the charge will last almost a year. It's ridiculous how long it lasts. One of the items that's on my wish list that I probably won't buy that I was looking at was the Dyson hairdryer because it is ridiculously expensive. So expensive. And my husband was joking around that we should just get it and be done with it to have like the be-all end-all best blow dryer ever because it is supposed to speed up your blow dry your blow dry time by like, I don't know, 50, 75%, something ridiculous. So I would say if you were considering something like that this would be a good time to pick it up. It's on my wish list. It's probably not something I'm going to buy because I really don't want to blow like $300 or whatever it is for the blow dryer, but it is something that I've looked at and thought, I wouldn't mind having it, but I'm not willing to buy it. One of the big ticket items that I was looking at for myself was the Tria Age Define Eye Wrinkle Laser Corrector. I've had some friends who recommended that to me for dealing with like the fine lines around the eyes, and I'm not going to lie, it's something I'm looking at getting, and I might end up getting it just because now's the time to get it. There are a couple things that I do know for sure that I'm going to be buying. I mentioned the Cinema Secrets brush cleaner. I'm also going to be buying 2 of the Kat Von D Glimmer Veils. I need Shock Fill, which is the bright pink, and Televator, which is the bright purple. I have like 5 of them because I've just been buying like a couple here and there. Let me swatch them for you. I've got Thunderstruck, which is like the gorgeous peachy gold. You can see that. And I used a little bit of that for my lip look today. I've got Dazzle, which is the red. I also use this for my lip look today. Such a beautiful bright red. I've got Razzle, which is like a magenta pinky purple, which is why I didn't originally get Shock Full or Televator because I'm like, oh, I've got the magenta shade. It's kind of in between both. I'm not going to need all of them. And then I'm like, yes, I do. I need them all now. I've got Reverb, which is the blue, which I haven't worn yet. I actually need to put together a look with this one because I don't think I've worn it at all. And then the last one I have is Wizard, which I've used Wizard before. I really like it. It's like the black one. But they're all so freaking gorgeous. That's why I'm like, yeah, I need a couple more of those. The other thing that I was looking at that I really want is this Urban Decay makeup brush set. It's like the Urban Decay Most Wanted brush set and has like a little brush case. even though I already own a lot of Urban Decay makeup brushes, I don't own that, and I really want the case. So I'm like, I'm probably going to buy this on sale because it looks just, it's something I would like and use. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the palette recommendations portion of my video. The number one palette I'm going to recommend for you if you love makeup like I do is the Urban Decay Heavy Metals palette. Yes, it has stupid packaging. I mean, the outside packaging looks fine, but the interior packaging is really obnoxious because of the mirror in the middle. I've gouged one of the eyeshadows, but the eyeshadows in this palette are phenomenal. Like, I have been using one a day nonstop for, I don't know, since I got this palette. Like, I have on Angel Fire today on my inner lid. I love the colors in it. I think that it's great. It's a great palette to work with any other palette that you own. So if you are a fan of sparkly, multi-dimensional metallics, this is the palette for you. If you like bright colors, there's some great colors in here. If you are a neutrals person and you want to dip your toe into colors, you might even like this palette because it has so many neutrals. Like, it has like the neutral side and then the fun side. I think it's one of the best palettes that Urban Decay has put out in a long time, and I'm really happy with it. So I think it is absolutely worth picking up, especially on sale. So the next palette I have to show you is probably going to come as a shock. I was not going to buy the Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes palette, but then I had a couple friends locally here who were like, oh my god, this is the best palette ever. You need this palette. You love mattes. You got us hooked on mattes. You need this palette. So I bought this palette, and it's actually, I'm wearing some colors from this palette today. And it's got to be the best palette that I've bought from Too Faced in a long time because I hated the original Sweet Peach palette. I thought it sucked and was crap. This one, I actually like. It's really similar to Urban Decay's Naked Heat or Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance. Not exact dupes, but they have a lot of similar shades. But the formula for these shadows is really good. I really like the compact case. I mean, look how big this is. It's not really that big. Like, it's barely bigger than my hand. I was surprised I fell in love with this palette and I bought it. If you were somebody who likes all match, I definitely recommend it. Other palettes I would recommend would be the Urban Decay Moondust palette. That palette is still available. It's another great companion palette, just like the Urban Decay Heavy Metals palette. It looks great layered on top of basically anything. The Urban Decay Naked Ultimate Basics palette is a fabulous palette to pick it up if you also want a different mattes palette. Urban Decay Naked Heat is also pretty popular, all of those peachy and terracotta colors. I've had several friends buy the Viseart Golden Hour palette and absolutely love it. So if you haven't tried any Viseart, this might be a good palette for you to pick up. It actually looks really nice. I like the color scheme for it. The only reason I'm not buying it is because I already own a lot of Viseart and I already own a lot of those colors. And finally, I think that if you're one of those people who've been coveting the Natasha Denona palettes, maybe you would want to look at the Lila palette and buy it while it's on sale. I certainly wouldn't pay full price for it. In fact, I still have major regrets about buying the Natasha Denona Purple Blue palette, which was like really purple, blue, brown, because it was mostly brown with a little bit of purple and blue. So while I personally wouldn't buy the Natasha Denona Lila palette, I understand that some people might, especially if it's on sale, so it might be a good one to check out. And the last portion of this video is for my friend Lila. This is a mini anti-haul to go along with my my recommendations for the Sephora VIB sale. Number one, I'm not going to buy the Fenty Beauty Galaxy palette because I think the swatches make it look like crap. I've watched several videos on this palette. I haven't seen any videos that have looked good. I've seen one friend of mine who's been able to make the palette look beautiful, but everybody else, the swatches make it look like crap, so I don't need it. I already own the Urban Decay Moondust palette, and I really do like the Urban Decay Moondust eyeshadow formulas because I own a lot of those singles too. So I just feel like the Fenty Beauty palette, the Fenty Beauty Galaxy palette is just not for me. The color payoff isn't there. I don't like the color choices and I don't like the formula. It just basically looks like glitter that doesn't want to stick to the skin at all. The next product I'm not going to buy is the Tarte Bizarre Blush palette because I do not like the big Tarte blush wheels because there's always at least half the wheel that I would not wear. When I looked at this one, I feel like it's all of these warm shades. I might wear 2 colors out of the entire thing, so it is just not for me. I really wish that they would do like a cool version and a warm version rather than just all of these warm shades that look so similar on the skin. I feel like unless you are somebody who wears a shit ton of blush every day, you're not even going to be able to finish one of those palettes. Next up would be the Kat Von D Saint and Sinner palette. Now, I love Kat Von D. You know I love Kat Von D. The Pastel Goth is one of my all-time favorite palettes. I really love the Alchemist palette. I love Shade and Light. Shade and Light Glimmer wasn't for me, but I like all the rest of those. I love the Metal Matte palette from last year's holiday palette. That was amazing. So when I saw the Saint and Sinner palette, I was deeply disappointed. I don't like the colors in it. I don't like the random layout. And I'm not going to buy it because I don't think I would wear it. I think it would just sit there collecting dust. I don't like the shape of the palette. It's just not for me. I really wish that Kat Von D would have put out something similar to Pastel Goth or Metal Matte, just something more fun with more brights and less brown. The next palette I'm not going to buy is the Too Faced Boss Lady palette. That palette looks like basically every other holiday palette Too Faced has ever put out. I don't see anything new, original, interesting in it, so I'm going to skip that. Next up, I was really excited initially to see that Violet Voss is now in Sephora. I have one palette from Violet Voss that I liked. It's the Drenched Metals palette. It does have a weird like smell to it, like it smells a little bit like crayons, for lack of a better term. But the colors perform very well. They're really like, I would say that they are like a sheer buildable formula, so it's really easy to blend out, but you do have to build up the color. I've used it on my friends a lot and they really like it. So yeah, I love the Drenched Metals palette. So when I saw that Violet Voss is going to be at Sephora, I was like, oh, let's see what they have. Everything they have looks identical in brown. It's like a whole sea of browns. So when I saw that they had the taupe notch palette, I was like, oh, it looks like Cool Tones. Nope. Not really. It's still mostly all browns that look nearly identical. Not going to buy it. Not worth it to me to buy a palette of nearly identical brown shades that are just like subtly different, that you won't be able to even see the difference on the eye. So boring. The next palette I'm not going to buy is the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette. Now, initially this palette caught my eye because it has some pretty purples in it, but then I realized it's mostly all brown with just like 3 or 4 different purples. Because basically it's just 3 or 4 different purples, I have plenty of purples in my collection. It's pretty easy to do. I will say that I'm really interested in the mini palettes that Huda says she's going to be putting out, but not this one. And last but not least, what I'm not going to buy is a silk pillowcase from Sephora. You can buy a silk pillowcase on Amazon for 1/5 the price of the one on Sephora. So don't waste your money on Sephora. Go check out Amazon, because I've bought a nice mulberry silk like anti-aging pillowcase on Amazon for a fraction of the cost of what you pay for it on Sephora. Anyway, those are my recommendations for the Sephora VIB sale, for picking up some staples, some palettes, and of course, products I'm not going to buy. I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you found it informative, entertaining, fun, or helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share. I love it when you share my videos. It makes my day. And if you haven't already, you should consider subscribing to my channel so that you don't miss seeing my videos. And you can check out my cute poodles. This is my baby Nyx, and she's gotten so big. She got her first big girl haircut today. So she's in a modified continental. And I think she looks absolutely adorable. But she's gotten pretty big. She's about 27 pounds now. And she's looking at the camera like, yeah, all these bright lights, I don't like them. And for those of you who haven't seen her before, this is my big girl Phaedra. She's about 42 pounds right now. Normally she's around 45, but since she was 6, she went down to 41. Ginormous lap poodle. Super sweet. Love you, baby. Let me know what you're going to pick up from the Sephora sale or what you're not going to buy in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching.